Hello and welcome back to Conquest Creations. In this game we have my evil alliance going up against Dwarves of Kazad Dum.
Hey guys, I am Durin. I've brought some dwarves today. They've got to defend the kingdom of Durin from some Corsairs and the Witch King who have managed to find themselves in our mountains.
My army has the Witch King with a bunch of orcs and an orc captain, and the other half is Dalamir with a bunch of Corsairs and a Corsair bosun. Now this is a yellow alliance, so I don't get my army bonus. So hopefully it doesn't come up, because I'll definitely be bummed if I get a lot of traps this game.
I've brought Durin with 10 Hearth Guard. I've brought the King's Champion with 10 Iron Guard and a Shield Bearer. Well, I know that I've got a lot of throwing weapons facing me, so I'm expecting to take a few numbers early, but hopefully I can use my high defense. I can stick around a little bit, and at the end of the game I can do some good damage output.
And with that, we are ready to get into this game. We're playing the scenario Divide and Conquer. That means that you have to split your army up, deploy one half in one corner and the other half in the other corner. This is really risky for some slow armies, but the good thing is both of our armies are mainly infantry based, so no one has a big advantage here. And the goal is to get to the objectives in the middle. There's one in the dead center that's worth the most amount of points, and two secondary ones on the side. Now, in this, you also score points for breaking the enemy and killing their leader. I decided to deploy my army thematically with my Mordor side together and my Corsair side together because they had the same amount of warbands. Durin kept his shield bearer with Durin because that of course gives him lots of buffs. And here we can see the whole board ready for our game to begin. It's a really interesting board layout with a big wall down the middle, some forests on one side and the city on the other side. Now the start of this game is relatively uneventful. We're running forwards and we've started decently far away, so everyone has just pushed up and there's a lot of models to move. I'm just going to quickly interrupt to tell you about 4th Age 3D printing. 4th Age 3D printing provides an awesome selection of 3D printed miniatures, whether you're looking for Middle-earth alternatives or any other games or collectibles, even some cosplay stuff. This video is also brought to you by the Kingdom of Durin Kickstarter, which has finished, but you can pick up a late pledge over on our website. The link is in the description down below. Thanks, and let's get back to the video.
Turn 1 wasn't too eventful, everyone just running forward, so that's going to take us to priority. And goes to me. As you can guess, I'm just going to move forwards once again.
And that is exactly what I did here. All my troops running to the middle.
And here we are at the end of the move phase, and Durin just has one shot. That dwarf archer has a clear shot against the Witch King's horse. Maybe a bit reckless of me to leave him out there, but I should be fine. So he hit on a 4. That's a 1. All right, we're safe this turn.
That was certainly reckless to risk losing a horse on a big hero like that, but good thing it didn't happen. And as you can see, Durin's just sending his dwarves towards the Witch King, who sat in the gap in the broken wall, and the rest of the guys running forwards. My Corsairs climbed off the wall just to get a couple of them inside, but the rest of them were running for that open gate, led by Dalamir with his very brightly colored coat. Now the rest of my Corsairs looks like they're going to be able to use their throwing weapons this turn, so they're setting up a big bubble here. They're outside 5 inches of that dwarf, but inside 6 inches, so they can throw their weapons, but he won't be able to charge them, and the orc rabble just runs forwards.
And I've got a big option here. Durin put Durin right out in the front, so what the Witch King could do is try to transfix him, and then charge in, strike up, probably win the fight, and maybe do some damage, but the problem is Durin's D9. The Witch King would need 6s by 4s to even wound him, so I don't think that's likely to happen. Because of that, I'm actually going to be a chicken, and I'm just going to get outside 5 inches of Durin, so that if Durin has priority next turn, he can't charge me. This way, the Witch King can fight Durin when all of the orcs are around as well. And that's the end of the move phase. Our armies are slowly coming together. Looks like they're all going to meet in the middle. Every single Corsair has a throwing weapon, so all of these guys are going to go at that Kazad Guard. I hit on 5s. And I need 6s. Not enough this turn. Alright, that'll go to next turn.
So coming into turn 4, our armies are actually starting to get close, so it's no longer just recklessly moving forwards. Now we need to move forwards with intention and understand where we want our models to be for when these lines clash. Now, in this warband that my orcs are going to be facing up against, there are a lot of throwing weapons. So he's got a massive short range advantage of me. So I'm just trying to get my orcs closer up there, but also setting them on battle lines so that my banner's in the right place and my spears are in the right place. With my Corsairs, I'm kind of moving in this conga line style so that I maintain the ability to throw all my weapons at that Kazad guard for next turn. Into Tiorum's movement, he's moving through the gap in the wall with Durin and the shield bearer, and that King's Champion is not running as fast forwards as he possibly could because these Iron Guard, all of which have a throwing weapon, are making a line, and they're going to see how many orcs they can take down before I can get to them.
And here we are at the end of the movement phase. As you can see, we're playing the scenario how it's supposed to be with our armies all meeting in the middle. I've got 14 throwing weapons going into these Kazad Guard, and Tiorum has 10 throwing weapons going into my orcs. I'll start us off. Everyone hitting on 5s, wounding on 6s. I've got 2 kills, so it'll take down 2 of these Kazad Guard. And Tiorum shots back at me with his 10 throwing weapons here.
Hitting on 5s.
Hitting on 5s, 3 6s,
There we go.
and wounding on 5s. Takes down 1. Which one do you want?
I'll take this guy here with the big cleaver.
Oh, he was my favorite.
And that wraps up turn 4, taking us into turn 5. Priority went to Tiorum this turn, and he's charging in with those dwarves. So the King's Champion is going in because he's going to be able to absolutely shred my orcs. He's one of my picks for the best heroes in the game. And then the rest of the Iron Guard are running forward, but they've spread out in a way that they can't be surrounded. And he's importantly keeping this gap that's less than 40 mil so that his heroes should be safe.
And in my move, Tiorum was clever and he made sure a 40 mil base couldn't get to the shield bearer, but he wasn't expecting me to use compel. So I'm going to use 2 will, and I'm going to try to compel him. I've got it on a 4, and I can reroll one of these, but I don't believe you have any will, so that will go off. Can you just send the shield bearer 3 inches out in the open directly towards the Witch King?
Compel is just such a powerful spell. Giving control over other people's models is so strong and really difficult to plan around, especially after a lot of turns of movement where not a heap's happened. And my Corsairs are also rushing in, hoping to get into the fight, and as you can see, Dalamir is able to charge into one of the Iron Guard. So here is our board after the movement phase. We've got the Witch King going into the shield bearer, and a lot of clashing blinds. Dalamir made it into combat. I think I'm going to lose a lot of orcs here. Across the board, Tiorum had a variety of throwing weapons and archers, but they didn't manage to get any kills. I had 4 Corsairs throw their weapons at this Iron Guard, managing to take him down.
So into the combat phase, there's a lot of fighting. Tiorum, do you have anything to declare?
Nothing to declare from me.
Alright, and here, the Witch King and the shield bearer are both fight 5 because you're compelled. If you win, you can't strike me. So I'm going to save my might and not bother striking. Let's just get into the fights. So the first fight of the turn is the Witch King fighting the shield bearer. We're both the same fight value. I've got a 6, you're on a 3. So I have won that. Now you're knocked prone, so I can roll this twice. The Witch King needs 6s, but the green dice, which are the Morgul Knight, they need 5s by 3s. Okay, so I've done 1 wound with the Witch King on my first round of strikes. Let's roll again. And there's a second wound. Now he's only got 2 wounds, no fate, so the shield bearer has been slain. That is a very good start for me.
So off to a good start, and into the combats. My orc initially was pushed back, and I've lost a few combats here, but was lucky and didn't lose too many guys. But Dalamir is my leader, lost his fight, but had to spend a might point to win it. It doesn't feel good having to spend one of his 2 points of might, but he's only D4, and those guys are strength 4, so he probably would have taken a wound and conceded me a point there.
That's the end of the combat phase. That went really, really well for me. I was expecting to lose quite a lot more orcs there, but the King's Champion totally botched. Dalamir did have to spend a point of might, but hey, that's not the end of the world. The Witch King's very exposed, but if I win a heroic move roll off, the world is a good place. So that's going to go to priority. I got a 1, you got a 2. Well, I will call a heroic move with my orc captain in here. Would you like to counter?
I want my thrown weapons. So
Yep.
I'm going to call with the King's Champion.
All right. Well, you've got priority, so let's see the roll off. 1, 2, 3 goes evil. Goes evil. All right, my move.
Now this was a very good heroic move roll-off for me to win. The Witch King was very exposed where he was, so this means that not only am I avoiding all these throwing weapons, Dalamir charged in and got a kill with his throwing weapon, which is really nice.
So the Witch King needs to get away from Durin, because Durin would absolutely wreck him, so he's just going to run over to here, and he's going to do a cheeky 1 dice transfix on... We'll go on Durin. Got her on a 1, so I'll reroll for the Morgul Crown. And that's a 4.
Turum decided he'd save his will, so didn't resist.
And this is our board at the end of the move phase. This Morgul Knight is in a lot of trouble. Do you have any shooting?
I've got no shooting.
No shooting from you. And look, I don't think there's going to be any shooting from me either. Looks like everyone's in combat, and I don't want to risk hitting my own guys. So we'll get straight into the fights.
Now that very unlucky Morgul Knight wasn't in range of the heroic and unsurprisingly got taken down. Further along, my Black Numenorian managed to push back a Iron Guard, an Orc died, another Orc died, but that's kind of what we expect in these fights. The King's Champion won his fight, but he only killed one of the 2 Orcs that he was fighting again. He just needed 4s, but was re-rolling 1s to wound, so he was definitely hoping to get some more kills, because I'm slowly creeping ahead on the kill count here. Dalamir won his fight and put a wound onto the Banner Bearer, but because these are the King's Champion's Banner Bearers, they have fate points keeping them alive, and I finished off by slaying an Iron Guard who was trapped.
And that was a brutal turn of combat again. The King's Champion spent a point of might, but didn't put the damage out that he needed to once again. And I did 2 wounds to both Heralds with some really lucky rolling, but they both passed both of their fate. So I took 4 fate out of his army in that turn. That's going to take us into the priority phase. I'm on a 5, you're on a 4. It is all going up evil at the moment. Are you going to call anything?
I can not really affect anything with my own might over there.
Yep. All right. So that'll go into my move.
I'm in a great position where because I had that transfix on Durin and that Morgul Knight, that I've just held his guys back, so instead of my force getting sandwiched, we've got a couple extra turns where we can sandwich Tiorum's Dwarves. But of course they are still coming, they can't reach this turn, but they'll be there next turn.
So this is the game after the move phase. That's going to go into combat. I'm not going to be calling any might. Are you going to be calling any?
I have no might in combat.
All right, well, let's just get fighting.
We started with this one dwarf who managed to hold back my Tide of Corsairs from wrapping around the back. And into the fights, we start out by losing 2 Orcs to the King's Champion, so he's putting the herd out this turn. Now those Banner Bearers, despite losing some fights, are doing pretty well in being able to survive. While they're in base contact with the King's Champion, they get extra defense, so that's been super helpful. And then I managed to kill 2 Iron Guard in a row, with the Witch King slaying one, and then a Corsair slaying one. He responded by killing an Orc with the Iron Guard, and then I won another fight, but my Black Numenorian failed to kill anyone.
And here we are at the end of the combat phase. I took a few more casualties this turn, but I'm still pretty happy. And are you close to breaking yet?
I've had 12 killed out of my 26.
Okay, so a couple off, but the good news is support has arrived. So let's roll priority and see who goes first. I'm on a 6, you're on a 3. Would you like to call anything?
I think I have to.
Yeah, so there's a clear path that you left there between King Durin and the Witch King. So I still got some might. I'm going to call it with the with my Orc Captain's last point of might. I've got priority. I'll do the roll off. 1, 2, 3 goes evil. But a 6 will go to good. All right, so Durin is going to get into the Witch King.
This was a clever play by Chorum. Just leaving a couple small gaps can totally change the game, because Durin is about to do bad things to the Witch King. To make things worse for me, that King's Champion is also joining King Durin. Now this means if I charged one of them, I could potentially peel them off. But Chorum's got enough dwarves here that I think he's going to be able to wall them out, meaning the Witch King is just going to have to give it his best shot at surviving that combat. Now these Hearthguard are absolute tanks. They come in with D7 and Burly, so they get +1 to wound. With their Strength 4 and the ability to reroll 1s to wound, they put out a lot of damage. They are limited to 1 attack, but we'll see what they can do. Now, at this point, because Chorum's broken, the game could end relatively soon, so I'm making sure to cover my bases on those objectives. This archer that survived last turn is totally surrounded, and then in here, I'm just trying to adjust my lines to get a favorable matchup where possible.
And here we are at the end of the move phase. Now, the big thing is you've got King Durin and the King's Champion, or Durin's Champion, I guess, into the Witch King. So I will be calling a heroic strike with the Witch King.
I will match that with Durin, the second point of mine.
So that is a big fight both of them have struck, but we're going to get to that last. We started out by this dwarf archer who was totally surrounded, getting killed. But of course I'm not getting the army bonus from the Corsairs, which is backstabbers, which would have meant every time I trap someone I get +1 to wound. So far I've got quite a few traps, so maybe this Yellow Alliance list wasn't the best idea, but I do like experimenting with these lists. And in there, Dalamir unsurprisingly managed to get a kill regardless, and there was just more clashing of lines, and I got pretty lucky killing a few more of these dwarves. My banner managed to survive his fight. If he had been killed there, I would have lost it, so I was very lucky.
And we're here for the main event. It's the Witch King fighting Durin and the King's Champion. Let's roll our strikes. I'm on a 2, you're on a 1. But okay, I'm starting on fight 5, so I'm 7, you're also 7. So we're even in there. I've only got 3 dice. And you've got a lot more than that. I'll set the bar for you. On a 5.
King's Champion.
There's your 6, and there's your 6. Okay, my banner is still alive, so I'm taking my banner reroll. Okay, and I will use the Witch King's. I'll use another point of might to put that to a 6. So we're on a 50-50 here. Oh, all right. This is stressful. Does the Witch King survive or does the Witch King die? Pretty much. 1, 2, 3 goes to me. 4, 5, 6 goes to the dwarves. Goes to the dwarves. Okay. So King Durin in there has 3 attacks needing 5s to wound, and the King's Champion piercing struck, so he has 3 attacks also needing 5s to wound. I've only got 1 wound, but 3 fate. How much can you do to me? Spend the point of might. Out of might, but the Witch King is totally dead. Fair enough. So on the table, you're out. I've got 1 on Dalamir and 1 on the bosun. That's it. And here we are at the start of the next turn. I lost the Witch King. I've got a 2 for priority. You've got a 6. So you are out of might. So if I call it, I'll get it. And Dalamir is looking at getting charged by Durin if I don't call it. So I'll call it with the bosun's point of might. So I'll get that move.
The bosun is in a really good position here, covering a huge portion of my army, and we want to make sure we can hold those central objectives. With the Witch King down, I'm a little bit more tentative to be going into big heroes, so I just need to be tying up Durin and the King's Champion with chaff that don't matter. If they kill a Corsair each a turn, it's not great for me, and they'll wear me down eventually, but if the game ends before that's a problem, that'll be all good. Now I have this big horde of Corsairs who are finally running around the side. And here we are after the movement. These Corsairs are running in, hopefully getting behind you and trapping you. It also should be noted that you are broken at the start of the turn. So at the end of the turn, this could be the last turn of the game. And there's a lot of fighting, so let's get into it. With no magic left on the board and the lines clashing so there not being a lot of shooting, we're getting through these turns quickly. And Turam started strong by killing 2 orcs, which is starting to make me run low on numbers. He's broken, but I'm not that far away, especially when he's killing guys at the pace that he is killing. And Durin and the King's Champion both killed their opponent, so I'm up to 4 losses already this turn. And then an Iron Guard lost his fight, and that banner was finally slain. I lost a Black Numenorian, giving control of this objective over to Tiorum. So at the end of the turn, does the game end on the roll of a 1 or 2? It continues. Okay, now that your heroes are in combat, you're going to be able to chew through my guys. And you killed 5 models that turn, but let's go to priority. I'm on a 3, you're on a 6. I've got 1 point of might left. Oh, Dalamir will have to fight against King Durin. Dalamir is my leader. Look, if I fight King Durin, I can strike, but you can't strike. So maybe that'll scare you off, but you'll probably kill me. This is a tough choice. Look, I will call a heroic move because I'm a chicken. I don't want to fight Dalamir. I don't want to fight Durin with Dalamir. Now maybe this is a cowardly play, but Dalamir, the Lord of the Pirates, didn't get to his position by doing silly things and fighting big evil dwarven lords. So with this move, that's the last point of might on the board. Now that scares me because if I break and he ties up my heroes, my courage is terrible. So this could swing very quickly if things start to go bad for me. And here is the board at the end of the move phase.
So I only have 5 models until I break, and if I break, my courage isn't good, so I really do not want that to happen. And look, with these heroes in combat, they're going to be able to chew through my guys. So I want this game to end as quickly as possible, or I just want to kill you. You've got no heroics to declare, I've got no heroics to declare because we're both out of might, so let's just start fighting.
And the punches begun with some Corsairs just getting pushed back. Even though those Hearthguard wound on 3s reroll 1s, I was able to survive that, luckily. And Durin and the King's Champion put work in. Durin started off by killing this Orc with a fun stripy shield, and then the King's Champion killed 2 Corsairs. I said I was 5 away from breaking, them alone just did 3. Now this Hearthguard very luckily won against all 4 Corsairs, and I managed to push back and actually kill some more of the Dwarves. At this point, Turam's broken, so he doesn't really care about taking losses aside from losing the guys, but he knows that if this game continues, his 2 heroes can carry it.
And here we are at the end of the turn. I'm 2 models off breaking. If I break, I'm in a lot of trouble. But this could be the end of the game. Do you want to roll the dice on a 1 or 2? No, the game continues. That's not good. I want this to end. All right, let's do some priority rolls. I'm on a 3. You're on a 3.
Goes to you.
Goes to me. That's good. I can keep Dalamir safe because if that went to you, he was in a lot of trouble there.
Now Dalamir is going to be my saving grace here if I can keep him alive. His stand fast is good. Because he's a hero of legend, he automatically passes on his first attempt. And even though the rest of his courage isn't great, I'll take any stand fast over none. So he is running as far away from the Dwarven Lords as possible. I don't want anyone to be able to charge him. And then I'm really just stacking on the Dwarves, trying to take them out as much as possible, and only putting 1 model into each of his heroes.
All right, let's do some combats. I've got it to start with. We'll start on this side with my bosun fighting your Kazad Guard, and we'll work across. And the bosun has taken a wound.
Now, I've kept him over there because I want models on those objectives. Even though Turam's running so low, I could lose a lot of guys so quickly that I need guys there. Now, funnily enough, my single Corsair managed to win a fight against the King's Champion, which is huge. And then I want to fight against Durin as well. They both should have killed those models and broken me, but it looks like it might not happen this turn. Even though he's winning other fights, I'm managing to stay alive. I lost 1 more model, but that means I'm still safe.
Does the game end on the roll of a 1 or 2? Turam, let's see it. It's a 5, so we continue. The longer it continues, the more chance you have of winning, the more chance I have of losing. Let's do some priority. 5 to 5 goes to you this time. All right, your move.
I've had a lot of control over the game with movement, and this is the first turn that I've got 0 control here. So Durin is charging as close to Dalamir as possible. Now, that might expose him to being trapped. I don't think he cares.
And end of the move phase, Dalamir has run away, so he's 5 inches away from Durin, so no matter how many guys Durin kills, he will be safe, but it stacks on in there, and a lot of stuff's tied up. Let's go to combats.
And it started on this side with my Corsair Bosun winning his fight this time, but not killing the Hearthguard, just pushing him back. The King's Champion, man, talk about underperform, lost his fight against 2 Corsairs. He would have wounded them on 3s, rerolling 1s, so that is just free bodies for me to keep on the table from him botching. Now I managed to win a lot of fights in here actually, which probably shouldn't have happened, but hey, I'll take it.
And here's the main event of the turn. It's King Durin, hopelessly trapped, but he has the higher fight. I'll set the bar for Turam. I've got 6 guys and a captain. So I've got 6s. You've got 3 attacks. And there's the 6s. So you've won that fight. You just need to kill 1 model to break me. You've got some defense 3. You've got at least, yeah, there's 1 Corsair in there. He's defense 3. So you'll wound him on 3s. Oh, you wound all the Corsairs on 3s. So who do you want to go for?
I'll go for Corsairs.
Yeah, all right. And that's 3 dead Corsairs to get the break.
Let's hope the game continues.
Let's seriously hope the game ends. You want to do the roll? Oh no, it keeps going. All right, I'm broken. He's broken. Let's see the priority roll. Goes to him. So goes to Dwarves. Nothing I can do about that. So go for it.
Well, clearly it's just tag up the standfasts.
Yeah.
I can't get to Dalamir, so everybody else has just got to try and help out.
So Dalamir will auto pass his courage because he's a hero of legend, and he's run away long enough. he's going to come in and we're going to try to take out King Durin this turn. If he botches, we might be able to do it. So he's within 6 inches and all models within 6 will then get the stand fast. And we'll get as many guys in there as we can.
And across the rest of the board, I got quite a few guys in stand fast, but still lost several others. And that takes us into the combat phase where I managed to kill this Hearthguard. Now remember, all these trap models, if I was playing pure Corsairs, I would be getting +1 to wound, but this is a yellow alliance, so that's not the case. And his King's Champion finally performed, getting a kill, meaning it's just that bosun trying to hold that far objective. And I managed to win the fight against his banner again.
And this is the biggest fight of the game, much bigger than the Witch King fight. I'll set the bar for you. So you've got the higher fight. I've got the 6 already, but I've got a bunch more dice here. There's another 6 and another one. All right, you've got 3 dice. You need a 6 to win this. There's a 5, but...
I re-roll my 2 3s. 1 for the... No!
So there was 1 reroll for the banner, 1 for the Axe of Durin. I've won it. I can do a lot of damage here. Alright, these are my dice to wound. All of these bronze ones need 6s by 5s. The white ones need 6s by 4s re-rolling, and the green ones need 6s by 4s. Oh no, there is not a 6 there. But I can re-roll the white ones. Sixes. There's 2, okay. But they need to be by 4s. 2 wounds on Durin. Now he's only got 1 fate, but he has the magical crown. So on a 6, he just ignores these because of his crown.
That's 1 wound ignored.
1 wound ignored, and then he has a fate point as well. And he's past it. So Durin comes out of all of that totally unscathed. Wow. The important roll, though, on the roll of a 1 or 2, the game is over and I will win. No! Oh my god.
He's going to take the bosun.
So the priority roll off went to Tiorum. This is not good. You've tagged the bosun, so he won't get stand fast.
Durin will charge into the captain and Dalamir.
Yep, so they won't get stand fast. And then you've still got the King's Champ.
King's Champion will need to take his own courage test.
Yes, he will. He's good.
And he's just going to gang up here and hope you fail everything. Then my banner will also need to take a courage check.
He's good. Who does he want to take on?
He's going to come here.
Cool.
And with that, I have a lot of courage tests to pass here. I did okay passing my first one, but then it was just rolling and taking off models. This never feels good. I absolutely hate being broken with no standfasters around. To be fair to Tiorum, I think I did better here than I probably should have. Managed to keep my banner up, which was really important. The original banner bearer ran away, but he passed it off. And one of my Corsairs passed here, meaning I can go and attack that secondary objective, but I'm still not holding it confidently.
And this guy's courage test, last one for the turn. He's good. He's staying around. So I'm holding that objective if the game ends this turn.
I didn't want to lose that one because I've held it all game. The combat phase started with the champion killing my bosun.
And here is the final fight, hopefully of the game, but maybe just of the turn. I'll set the bar for you. I'm on a 6. You're on a 6 as well, so you've won it. All right, who do you want to strike? You've got Dalamir or the Orc Captain?
I have to go after Dalamir.
Yeah, fair enough. Dalamir's defense 4.
Wounding on 3s.
Wounding on 3s. There's 2 wounds. I'll use my first 2 fate. Pass 1, fail 1. I'll use my third fate. Fail that, so I'm alive. 1 wound, no fate. All right, here's the big roll. On a 1 or 2, it's all over. Please. Yes! It's finally over. Let's tally up the scoreboard. I'm not sure who's in front here. And at the end of the game, we've tallied up the score. Tiorum gets 1 point for this one because he's got more friendly models inside 3 inches. I'll get 2 points for this one, so it's 1-2 currently. He's wounded my leader for another point. He's broken me for another point, so he's finished on 3. I've broken him, putting me up to 2. and then I'll get 3 for that one. So the final score is 3-6 in favor of evil. What a game.
Wow, that was great. Very, very fun. The game kept going on just long enough for me to get back into it. I think it's fair enough that Jacob won. He definitely did outplay me there.
Wow, what a game. That literally could not have been any closer. That was absolutely mental. I'm really glad I pulled out the win there, but it just goes to show why in Middle-earth you should never give up.
This has been Conquest Creations, and thank you for watching.